We welcome you in, Jake Lyman. Pleased to be joined alongside legendary Virginia Tech football player and broadcaster Mike Burnop. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me today.
Hey, good to be with you. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, I want to look back at your playing days first of all. You played here back in the 70s, before Virginia Tech football really became what it is today. What was that experience like, kind of being a trailblazer for a young program?
Well, it was interesting because when I was in high school, they recruited me pretty young at a young age. And at that point in time, they were going to the Liberty Bowl. And so I thought, this is a nice transition. They're going well. But I had a brother here, and it was close to home. My parents could be here. You know, my high school coach was a Hall of Fame basketball player at Virginia Tech, Bob Ayersman. And so it was kind of a natural fit. So it was fun. I mean, it was in 1969, way back in the day when I came here. The funny thing is that after 2 years, I went through a coaching change, kind of like what's happening over there now. So I kind of feel for those guys. I know exactly what they're going through.
And there you go, all-time reception holder for a tight end in a career at Virginia Tech as well. And then you make the transition to broadcasting. How did that opportunity arise for you to get in the booth? And now obviously a legendary, almost 40-year career up there on the radio booth.
Well, I don't think anybody will ever duplicate this one because it was kind of strange and odd how it happened. It just kind of happened. I had no experience, right? So when Bill Dooley was here as the head coach and athletic director, he hired a guy named Jeff Charles, who's now at East Carolina. So Jeff did the play-by-play, the radio, the TV, the marketing, the promotions. He did everything. I think he had one person on staff. And so Jeff called me out of the blue, I guess it was in the summer of 1983, after he'd gotten hired. He said, look, Mike, I've always had an ex-player do my color. Would you be interested? And I thought, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I'll come talk to you. So we talked. I guess he talked to some other ex-players around the area. And we had pretty good chemistry just talking back and forth. And he said, I'm willing to take a chance if you are. So that's how I got into it. And that probably never happens much. So the first game we did, this is funny. So the first game we did, Virginia Tech was opening up with Wake Forest in 1983 at Lane Stadium. So Wake Forest was playing in Winston-Salem the week before, playing App State. So we went down there. Jeff said, let's drive down there and do the game, and then we'll come back and listen to the tape on the way, and that way we'll have a little bit to go by. So we go down there to Wake Forest, and the App State game, sat on the top of the press box in Winston-Salem, and went back and forth on a Marantz tape recorder, something y'all probably never even know what it is. And we did that, and then we listened to the tape actually, wow, on the way back. So it's kind of fun. And then next week we went live.
Well, how was that transition to broadcasting for you? Was there a little bit of a learning curve for you early on, trying to figure out how to play off of your play-by-play guy, when to jump in, all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
What was that transition like?
It was definitely different and difficult, a little bit difficult. But when you got good chemistry with the guy, it goes pretty smooth because he kind of knows, you know, what to lead you into. And I thought that was pretty easy from that standpoint. You know, I learned early on too. Some people said, you know, make sure you're a homer. Well, I didn't like that advice that I got because sometimes you just got to give credit to the other team. Sometimes they're just better than you are. So that was kind of my thing through the years is that, hey, give credit where credit's due. If they're better than you, say it on the radio. Give credit to the other team.
Well, most of your career you worked with Bill Roth, almost 30 years together.
Yeah.
How did that relationship build your chemistry together on the air, and what did that relationship mean to you over the years?
It was fantastic. He was like a member of my family. You know, he came on vacation with us every year. It was really fun. When he came in, Jeff was leaving, Bill was at Marshall, and Dave Brain was the athletic director, and he called up Bill and he said, hey, Jeff's leaving. Would you want to come? And so he was going from Marshall to Virginia Tech, right out of Syracuse. It's like, yeah, I'm in. And so we talked and kind of hit it off, same kind of thing. And, you know, there was a little bit of a learning curve there to mesh together. But, yeah, after the years came by, 27 years we were together, it was like just keying off each other and playing off each other and kind of being funny. And, of course, the teams were good. So that helped a big difference. That made a big difference in everything. So, yeah, and we still have a great relationship. And, yeah, he's a dear friend.
Well, plenty of legendary moments with you and Bill in the booth. But then he moves on. John Laser comes in. After working with one guy for 27 years, is that a much sharper adjustment than it was from your first play-by-play guy to Bill than it was from Bill to Lace?
You know, I don't think it was that much different really because I'd had that experience. Because when Jeff Charles was here, we were together for 5 years. And then Bill came, excuse me, for 27. So, I mean, yeah, Lace came in and I think we hit it off pretty well right off the bat. And gosh, the first game we did was Ohio State, who I think was won the national championship that year. And so, or maybe the year before. But yeah, it was fun. We got to have a great relationship with him as well, and got smoother and more chemistry developed as the time went on.
Well, let's go into this year a little bit. A big moment for you and the basketball program in Brooklyn, a run to an ACC tournament. I saw you got to get up on the ladder, cut down a little bit of the netting. What was that moment like for you? Obviously, it had never happened before. Virginia Tech winning the ACC championship. You got to be a big part of it.
It was fun. I mean, it was so exciting to watch those kids. I mean, you think about it, they beat the number 1, number 2, number 3 seed. The odds of that happen are not very good. And so just every day you could just kind of feel the momentum building. And when it finally came that they beat Duke for the championship, and Coach K's last tournament game in the ACC, it was like phenomenal. And they deserved to win. They were great. So the celebration was going on, the confetti was flying, and everybody's out there trying to get a piece of the net. So that was really pretty cool, just get up on the ladder and take a piece. I still got it in my house, and cool moment. So happy for Coach Young, who's like Coach Beamer in sneakers, and just the whole program deserved it so much.
Well, obviously that one of the better moments in the booth for you, I'm sure. But if you had to pick one moment of your entire career as a radio broadcaster that was your favorite, what would it be?
Oh, I think you'd have to go back to football. And there were probably 2 moments, I guess, when back in 1995, the Hokies started out 0-2, and they won 10 straight games. Seemed like it rained almost every week. And we woke up, we were going to the Sugar Bowl, and it was raining, and we beat Texas. So it was 10-0 in that game, and then all of a sudden we return a punt, Brian Steele, and we beat Texas, mighty Texas, right? In the Sugar Bowl, won 28-10, and that was New Year's Eve, and the celebration that went on in New Orleans was incredible. So that was one unbelievable moment for the program, for us, for Bill and I, for doing those games and whatnot. That was pretty cool. And then the other one, of course, was the national championship. We're playing, Florida State, mighty Florida State. It's 1 versus 2. The legendary Bobby Bowden and the great athletes they had, Chris Winkie and Peter Warwick, and the great defense they had. And we got Michael Vick and our Corey Moore and our defense. That was a phenomenal game. The atmosphere, we were down there by like 9 days. Just the build up to the game was unbelievable. And then to have the lead going into the fourth quarter, just phenomenal. And you're just thinking, Beamer ball, all that kind of stuff. And what happens? Special teams let you down, and we lose the game in the fourth quarter. So I'll never forget that, the experience. We didn't win the game, but, that was a priceless, really memorable experience.